Hello YouTube. I'm recording this because I'm bored and I'm on a walk and it's like 8:30 in the morning. Man, I don't know. I like the sound of my own voice, so I'm gonna record myself. I don't know. Yeah, walking down the street. Should probably pick a topic and stick with it, eh? Darkest Dungeon just had, I guess, its official release. I don't know. When I was looking at its Steam page, the day I downloaded it was supposedly the day it came out, which was lucky. I just happened to see the best friends were playing. Well, I saw their really old video of Darkest Dungeon, and I had heard about it before, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool, but I didn't really look into it, and I never finished their video before. But I was watching it, and it was super hype. So yeah, I downloaded it on Steam. It's like 20 bucks, and I was playing it, and Jesus Christ, that game is hard. People talk about Dark Souls. I mean, it's a completely different kind of hard, because one's an action RPG and the other one's it's like a turn-based, weird dungeon crawly thing. I don't know what you'd call it, really. I never really played much of that genre, so, but it's freaking cool though. There's I don't know how many classes there are. I need to look this up because I've told people different things every time, but I think there's 40 classes or something like that you can unlock. Or not unlock, you don't have to unlock them, I don't think. But maybe you do, because I've only seen about 10 or 12. I don't know, really. I've seen 15 at this point. And they're all really cool. They have really great sprite work. Whoever did that, I know it's the company's Red Hook, but whoever specifically did the character models, Jesus, they're really good. And the art style's super cool. I don't even know how you describe it, but a lot of dark lines, it looks like a storybook. Not like a crappy storybook, but it looks like the amazing storybooks that you'd see at the beginning of epic medieval movie or game. But they made an actual game in that, and it's really cool. But yeah, that game's super hard. It's got permadeath similar to Fire Emblem, except for one of the things I really like is when you hit 0 health, you go on something called what's it called, Death's Door, and then you have a chance. You can theoretically you can be at Death's Door and get hit 100 times, I think. But the odds of that are super duper impossible. Because it's you have 67% chance to die with, I know for a fact one of my characters, when they're at Death's Door, that's the percentage, so shouldn't bank on that whole 100 times thing, but there's a stress meter that might as well just be a sanity meter, but I guess the word sanity meter is kind of being overused now. So there's a stress meter, and if you get too stressed out, your resolve gets tested. You have 4 players, or you have four party members every time you go into a dungeon, and if one of their resolve gets tested, and they fail. I don't know what the percentage is, but sometimes you can have a heroic moment where you'll be oh no, and then suddenly you'll be ah, and then you'll get a buff instead, and that's super cool and gratifying. I know at one point it saved me completely because one of my dudes, he was a man-at-arms. He got that buff in the middle of a boss fight, and he his buff that he happened to get healed him 5 points every time it was his turn to move, and that made it to where I didn't have to heal that guy. And a man-at-arms, this whole thing is that they can take damage for other players, or for other characters, not players. It's not like an MMO or anything. Sorry. You take damage for other units, and that move also gives him a high dodge percentage. So he'd get hit once maybe in the stead of someone else, but sometimes things work out for you like that. Other times they don't. Example, one of the boss fights that I came upon, I forget what its name was, but it's basically like a witch, and the witch has this pot, and at the start of the round, it's a giant pig monster, but she puts someone into the pot. Guess what that skill's called? It's called Into the Pot. But she'll put someone into the pot, and then they will have constant damage dealt to them until you knock them out of the pot. And the pot has more health than it should, I think. And I don't think the game is final, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to get fixed. Because I thought it was supposed to be final the day I bought it, but I don't think so. Because there's a lot of things that are just kind of super unfair. And I know that, like, it's supposed to be a hard game and all that, but there's a draw between, like, super unfair and, like, fair hard. And there are a lot of times when I'm playing the game and I'm like, oh, this is fair. This is very fair. I really am enjoying myself. But it's still stressful, right? But then there are times where you'll go into a dungeon and you will... there's like 4 clicks between every room. I don't know if it stays like that, but for the early game, that's what it is. It's like 4 clicks between every room. And on those 4 clicks, you have a chance to encounter something. You can either encounter a battle, or you can find some, like a curio, I think they're called. And, interacting with them is not always good. This is another thing that needs to get fixed soon. Which I understand. I thought that really seriously before, but now I've realized that there are ways to prevent it from happening. But you can sometimes just examine a thing that you walk up on. Like, say you'll find like an Iron Maiden or something, and you'll be like, oh, I wonder what this is. And you select which hero you want to check it out, and they check it out, and 9 times out of 10, it seems like they'll just get the fits, or they'll get the worries, or they'll get some sort of disease that you then have to sit them out on the next mission, and you have to spend 1,000 to 2,000 gold curing this disease, because it makes it impossible for them to be useful in battle, because it decreases 5 accuracy when they already had 3 other diseases and stat decreases from other stress things, etc., etc. And you're like, all right, well, this guy's worthless. And it's infuriating. And there's another thing, which, like, is one of those games that you don't know everything about it yet, because it's only been out for a little while, and this version of it is going to change, I'm sure. But there's one thing where if you send your dudes, like, if your roster's full, because you get more people every time you go back to town, and sometimes you'll be like, oh shit, that dude looks way cooler than these 3 other dudes that I have. So you'll kick, like, 3 dudes out to bring in 3 new dudes, because, you know, they've just been sitting there collecting dust because they're shitty rolls. Like, you know, who needs 3 plague doctors? You don't. I promise you that. You know, take 2 houndmasters and a man-at-arms in exchange for those 3 plague doctors, that's for sure. Tag. I always turn around at this point. This abandoned house over there. Ooh. Whatever. But, yeah. It's, what was I on about? Oh, yeah. It seems like when you cast people out of your party, I mean, they'll just die out there, and an enemy called the Headhunter spawns, or something like that. I think it's Headhunter, but I'm not sure. And what he does is, he's very reminiscent of the Reaper from Persona 3, if you've ever played it, which, if you have played Persona 3, you know what I'm talking about. When you're low leveled and you hear the Reaper, you're like, well, fuck this. I'm not, you know, and you get out of dodge. The problem, though, is that you have 0 warning signs in Darkest Dungeon, other than, oh, I shouldn't kick people out, right? But you have to kick people out, because sometimes people just aren't worth it. And, you know, you'll be going and you'll be like, all right, I'm going to make these guys level 2 so that I can send them. Jesus Christ, that scared me. Sorry, highway's right there. you'll kick some people out because you want to make a team that's actually good, like a backup team, you know, in case everybody else just fucking dies, which is totally possible. And I was making a backup team. Fucking headhunter spawns. And I was like, oh good, this is gonna go well. Guess what, it didn't. It killed one of my guys because he like spawns in ads, and the ads do so much damage. He himself does nothing. He just respawns the ads whenever you kill them, which is what really annoys me. It'd be fine if he did it, if he had a charge up on it or something, but if you kill one ad, he just decides that he'll bring it back to life. And it's agitating, and they need to fix it, because right now I don't even want to play Darkest Dungeon because I can't complete missions because I will encounter the headhunter and then just won't be able to win because I've made some dude's dogs think they're big. They're Chihuahuas. We don't have leash laws back here. But yeah, I'll encounter the headhunter and I'll just die. So I don't even want to do that at all because I'm scared, like a big weenie. And I'm one of those people that, you know, like, I'd save and quit Fire Emblem every time I had to. If I wasn't a big baby and didn't just jump in at Awakening, which is what a lot of people did, and I'm guilty as charged. And they could just turn off permadeath, which I know a lot of people are like, "Boy, you can't turn off permadeath, big old weenie." And it's like, dude, I don't care that much for this game. Like, gameplay-wise, it's good and all, but the stress you get from, and the amount of times you have to replay the game from not having permadeath on, it's like, it's so much less stress knowing that you can just throw like Cordelia at a dude and do like 8 damage to him and then die, and then finish him off with someone else, because, you know, whatever. That game had a good story, and that's why I played it. I didn't really play it for the gameplay, even though I also played it for the gameplay. You know what I'm on about. I'll stop. By the way, whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Darkest Dungeon right now. I actually really like talking to this camera thing. By camera thing, I mean my phone. But I enjoy doing this. I might keep doing it. This is like a test run. I've went for 12 minutes now, which is a lot. Hopefully this doesn't upload bad. I've never done this on my phone. I've never even taken a selfie. Well, I've taken selfies, but I've never, you know, gotten good at using my phone. My phone's camera like this. So if it uploads poorly to YouTube, or if it doesn't upload at all, or if this is an ugly format, I'll try to hold my phone sideways next time if people actually watch this video and comment and tell me, like, oh, this is awful. But if people want me to keep playing Darkest Dungeon and update them on if the game is, like, worth buying or not, which I like it when people do that. You know, I like watching YouTube channels that do that. So, you know, just, like, leave a comment and I'll like, let you know, like, what's going on in my game. And I'll let you know if it's worthwhile buying. I'd say right now, yeah, but if bullcrap keeps happening, you know, if I keep getting hit in the face with, like, shit over and over again, then I'll be like, no, they need to rebalance some stuff. They need to give you more stress or have something. But, you know, alright, that's pretty much it. I'm about to walk up this steep hill, and y'all don't want to see me do that. So, woo. Bye.